America First Warehouse, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night live, as I said, at the America First Warehouse again, week 2. And we are happy to be back. Joe the Box and everybody here, of course, so welcoming. We are happy to be here on a Friday night. Lots to do live from Studio 6B. Glad you're in, everybody. And welcome everybody here at the America First Warehouse. Great to see everybody. Harry on the highways here. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. And, of course, all the boys in the house. Starting to my right, Slick Rick. He's going to have sports. Slickster, how are you?
Living the dream, Big D. Living the dream, brother.
Oh, they love the Slickster. Slickster, I love that outfit. A little newspaper shirt there. What is that exactly?
This is a whole debut for the show. I don't normally wear this. I don't wear this suit, no. The shirt I've worn before, yeah. Well, this is the news, just the news. You know,
just the news.
Yep.
All right, very good.
Read all over.
Slickster's going to have sports. What's any big what's coming up in sports tonight?
Well, besides the fact that we're going to track the NBA and NHL playoffs, you know, Charles Barkley had a hot take about men and women's sports today.
Yes, he did.
Tiger's son, of course, he didn't make the cut. We're going to get into that a little bit. And Andrew Agassi, guess what? He's in pickleball now, professional pickleball. The great Andre Agassi. So we're going to get into that too as well.
All right, very good. Slick will have sports. Vinnie Mac is here. Vinnie Mac, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Doing very well. Awesome. I was driving in listening to Rhinestone Cowboy, and I came in, and here he is. He's right here. I couldn't believe it.
There he is.
Yeah, getting cards and letters.
One of my favorite songs. Yeah.
How was your day?
My day was good, although my big dog Winston insisted I take him for a walk in the rain, so it felt like Neil Sedaka there for a while. But yeah, it was great. I had a great day. Took the dog for a walk, prepared for the show. Here I am. I got here extra early, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I was here early. You guys all showed up a little late.
He wanted the first steak sandwich.
Steak sandwich.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, too bad for you. The steaks weren't ready.
I was vacuuming here, I think. Yeah.
Oh, he did a good job.
I helped out.
Rick Delgado's here. He's going to have some news as well. Mr. Delgado.
Yes.
Mr. Delgado.
Don't egg him on, please.
What?
Delgado, how was your day? What?
My day? You want to know what my day was like?
Yes.
I went to my first MRI. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Really?
Never had one before.
Uh-huh.
New experience. Passed out. Fell asleep.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What guys did half the audience?
Was that a full body MRI?
No, just the legs and hips area.
Yeah, the results?
Yeah.
What are the results? Share with the audience.
I can give you the results without the MRI.
They found nothing.
No, they didn't do my head. They didn't do my head, Dave.
Head down. Empty.
Well, that would have been a complete blank.
Yeah. All right, very good.
What are you goofing on? They couldn't even fit your head in that thing.
That's true, too.
It's a good. Is that funny? Yeah. Oh, the audience.
Supersize me.
Audience
Don't
likes
mess
that
with the
one.
host. Forget
They
it.
could fit his head in there. They just can't get the moons that orbit it.
Okay, the audience liked that one.
Yeah,
All right,
all right.
that's good. I remember that.
Let me check social media right now. Oh,
Kevin.
yeah. They like it, too.
Kevin Downey Jr. is here, the host of the Kevin.
Kevin.
Kevin Downey Jr., the host of the Kevin Downey Jr. Show. How are you?
I'm lovely, thank you, Big D. I had my first colonoscopy today.
Nice.
What the?
Oh, this guy's great. He works out of his van. And,
Talk about a hole in one, huh?
he says he's a doctor. But you know what, Big D? I've been watching all these Marxist incels getting very violent. So I'm changing my pronouns now to Smith and Wesson. That's my new pronoun.
Okay. Okay, very good. Very good.
Hey, Kev, could Kevin fit? Could Damon fit his head up there?
We can try.
Oh, my God.
God.
I'll take the check, please.
Check, please.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin Downey Jr. will have some news as well. Right here to my left, well, look who's out of my trunk. It's Mr. Paul Nolan this year.
Hey.
So you remind me, I have an Andre Agassi story.
Do you really?
Yeah, I sat next to him on a flight from L.A. to New York.
Right.
I said, Andre, I love you. You're great. Your charity's incredible. He goes, I'm really tired. I don't want to talk.
You didn't get into Brooke, you didn't get the Brooke Shields or anything like that, right?
No, that was it.
Yeah, you
Okay,
did
how
well.
are you?
I'm good. I had a nice day. Joe the Box helped me out. Where's Joe? That's
There he
my
is,
man.
right behind you.
Show the box.
Joe the Box did me a big solid today.
Okay, very
Had a
good.
really productive day. It was a nice day. Thanks, Ray.
All right, very good. A couple minutes past the hour. Glad you're in on a Friday Night Live, week 2. Man, week 1. Can we just talk about week 1 here just for a second? Because, well, Kev, I mean, I think you had the moment of the night last week with our young patriot here, Mateo.
Yeah.
And
Mateo.
Yeah.
From the communist state of Massachusetts, he was happy to get out.
I'm out.
Yeah, he was happy to get out. And, man, we're excited to be back here for week 2. Lots to do. We'll be excited for every week going forward. And like Harry said, if you're listening on 103.9 LI News Radio and the great JVC Broadcasting, if you're on Long Island or in Suffolk County, boy, we'd love to see you down here on a Friday night as we continue to expand and build this thing. We're going to get some music in here one of these weeks as well. We're talking to our friend Emily Brooke from American Idol, and we're going to get some music, and it's going to be a great time on Friday night, so we'd love to see you out here on a Friday night at the America First Warehouse. It's if you've never been here, I mean, you have to experience it at least once to be down here, so we're looking forward to having you down. Well, a lot of places to start tonight, boys, and I don't know where you want to start, but I want to start on the Republicans just because it's really the bane of my existence when I look at what's going on. And we talked about this last night a little bit, but when you look at the GOP right now and you look at what we saw out of even the New York representatives fighting over redistribution of wealth, with these SALT deductions and not being able to come up with any kind of a number that they were comfortable with. You look at the entire GOP agenda right now, it seemingly revolves around subsidizing blue state high taxes like here in New York, Medicaid scams, while offering, while people are getting crushed by the cost of health care. They've given up their debt ceiling leverage like they always do. They haven't done anything to get rid of dismantle the regulatory state. We found out yesterday they don't want to defund Planned Parenthood. That seems to be off the table. That's a little too touchy. And like I said, we're fighting over redistribution of wealth, freebies to blue states. So Vin, I'll come to you first. Where are we with this party? Why do we have elections if this is our positions?
Yeah, it's a very frustrating process because both parties essentially are beholden to these donors and their elite class of their party. The Republicans are too, until Donald Trump came in. He's sort of changed that, but Trump doesn't have the ability to make the House and the Senate do everything they want him to do. They're contending with all these other factions and left-wingers. And this is the thing that's driven us crazy all the years that we've been supporting Trump in his first term and now the second term. And that is, who's going to have the guts in the Senate and the House to really step up and push some of these things forward that we all voted for and that we all supported him for and that he ran on. And the fact that these things become such an issue to get done, and they're hallmark Republican issues, by the way, to be taken care of. Planned Parenthood, I mean, that's central command. I mean, why our taxpayer money going to pay for abortions? I mean, really? That should not happen. So at the end of the day, it's really that balance. Trump's his own guy. He's not beholden to anybody, but the rest of the folks are. And this is the game that we have to continue to play. So I say with Donald Trump, put the sledgehammer down on all of them. I think it's time to do that. Until he really does that hard, we're going to deal with this nonsense.
Well, that's an interesting point, and that's one I brought up. And you look at what we saw from these New York Republicans, so-called Republicans yesterday, and you've seen others. And, I think of when you hear people like Thomas Massey or Chip Roy or others come out against spending very hardcore, while everyone else seems to not have any interest in cutting spending. And, of course, they get filleted. Not only by President Trump once in a while, which I don't like, but he does it.
Yeah.
And others, they say, well, they just want to be the outsider. They just want to be this, or they just want to be a stick in the mud. And no, they actually really believe in cutting spending, which a lot of you talk like that. Again, you talk like Republicans, and then you vote like Democrats on these subjects. And when the subjects come up, like the debt ceiling, cutting spending, things like that, they don't really want to do it. But yet, I don't see the same pressure on people like Tom Tillis, who we just saw what he pulled with Ed Martin, and these others who don't want to defund Planned Parenthood, who don't really want to cut spending. I don't see the pressure from the right flank of this party on them, like today, that I see on people like Massey or Rand Paul or others when they say, no, I'm not voting for this. I don't care that everybody else is voting for it. I'm not raising the debt ceiling by $5 trillion, the most ever in history. I'm not voting for deficits at $2 trillion a year. No, and then they get filleted. But yet we don't see pressure on Mike Lawler today. We don't see pressure on any of these people who are fighting over redistribution of wealth, Delgado.
Well, you know what it is? Because it's their butt on the line. It's their campaign. This stuff is going to come home to hit them. If they can't come home with the goodies, right? It's like, oh, well, let the people in Louisiana or Montana pay for it. I need my stuff. So they have to protect their flank. Yeah, they'd probably like to go along with it, but the bottom line is they have to get reelected, right? That's their job, is to get their job is not legislating anymore. It's become getting reelected. Yep. So that's what they focus on.
I think the average politician, works about, 40 days out of the year? The rest of it's about getting money?
Yeah, about getting money and getting reelected, because that's what, unfortunately, that's what their job has become. Because if they don't, if all of a sudden they say, hey, you know what, I'm going to make the hard decision, like the president is saying, we got to make some hard decisions, but they don't want to be the ones to be on the carpet for it. Like you'll see when they do a vote, they'll check and be like, oh, well, you brought it up the other day, Damon. Maybe a different senator was like, I wasn't going to vote for that Martin guy. But now that Tom Tillis is out, now I can say, oh, I was going to support him. But look,
John Cornyn.
Right. They'll leverage each other against each other to make each other look good and be like, well, I can go home and say, I was supporting the president. Meanwhile, they don't have to pay the price.
Yeah. Right, but we don't see the same pressure being, like I said, like Kev, we don't see anybody today saying, hey, just get in line. Don't worry about what them or what Lawler and them are doing on salt. Just get in line. We're not seeing any of that. But yet, when these other guys don't want to, they want to actually cut spending and actually have the courage of their convictions, they're told, hey, just get in line and stop being a stick in the mud.
You know what I think, Damon? One of the few Republicans I still respect is a representative from Tennessee named Tim Burchett.
Yeah.
And And Tim Burchett said something very interesting. He said, when your rep or your senators don't vote the way you think they should because they're Republicans, that means the bad guys have something on them. They took the envelope, they had a little taste, there you go. And now they're stuck. They can't get out. And I believe him. So when you got these clowns like, this Tom guy, no, someone got to him. He did something he shouldn't have done, and they got it on camera.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Tillis is, and again, this is what I wait to see. I mean, he was, I guess, somewhat effective in the president pulling Ed Martin from being D.C. and he put Jeanine Pirro in there now, but he puts Ed Martin at the Department of Justice, where I would argue he's more powerful now than he would have been at that position.
In a big
that
position,
might have been the
too.
plan.
And I think Trump really gives a big checkmate on that move.
Big time. Big. And did you see what he's doing? I mean.
And supposedly he's all in with Bongino about the pipe bomber and a lot of the things that Bongino's talked about over the years on his radio show. Him and Ed Martin are very simpatico on that, and I think that's some of the first things they're going to tackle in this position. So, all right, just getting started live from Studio 6B at the America First Warehouse on a Friday night. Sports news with everybody all coming up. We're back right after this.
Do you have a pen?
Chat. Are we live in the chat? Let's see who's out there. Let's see. Let's go over to Rumble. Anybody here in the studio audience? Do you watch us on Pluto? Do you watch us on Rumble? Do you watch us on YouTube? Pluto? Cool. Samsung? Anybody for Samsung?
Pitching that.
I love the Samsung.
Hey, gentlemen, so I'm working in Shippensburg, Pennsylvania at the casino. A couple friends of the show show up. They're sitting in the corner. They just drove 5 hours to be here.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you for coming, guys.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Shippensburg, where's that near?
It's out near Harrisburg.
Ah, you wait. Yeah.
5 hours to get here.
Dang.
We don't have any traffic around here. It probably just flew right in. Yeah.
Glenn Delaney, yeah. Thanks.
Howdy, Rumblers. Howdy, studio audience.
When you need them.
Small Town Barbie says howdy, studio audience.
Anyone else come more than anyone here not from Long Island? Yeah. Uh-oh, where'd you come from? Old Bridge, New Jersey. Over the GW at rush hour. Out. Thanks for coming.
That's exit 17, I believe.
Exit 11.
Yeah.
Howdy to the Twixters in the chat. We got Frederick Leathers, Fly G Patriots in there,
Aaron, we're good here
Pitchfork
on the
22,
screen. We got audio and everything.
Super Cymatic, Real Prince Doll is in the chat. We got the Real Prince Doll and the real living Prince Doll right here.
And YouTube, we got Drag Blacker, right? $10. This is what the GOP wants. They know you'll be distracted with celebrating Trump, and when he's gone, everything he did with executive order will be undone. It'll all go back to normal.
Tweet Potato.
Drag Blacker.
What?
Philco needs Vinny's X address. Vinny, you got an X address to share?
An X address? Yeah, it's my name.
What is it?
Yeah, Vincent Buta.
Vincent Buta.
B-U-T-T-A.
No, it's not.
It's not?
It's not? Do you not even know your own social media?
Let me call Elon on this.
All right. Live from Studio 6B on a Friday night at the America First Warehouse. Slick's going to do some sports. Vinnie Mac, Rick Delgado, Kevin Downey Jr., Paul Nolan, all going to have the news. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Harry on the highway out there in the audience, going to find some people to talk to maybe. Whoa. Harry just wants to get to the steak truck. Who's he kidding?
Yeah. He's killing 2 hours to get to the steak truck, right?
Yeah,
That's basically
exactly.
it. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
I heard we're doing segment 3 from the Stogie Lounge. Not true?
I hope so. I hope the cigar club, the cigar truck is still here when we're done.
They got some nice chairs in there, too.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Okay.
Nice setup.
That's where I'll be post-show at about 10 o'clock and 4 seconds. I'll be out there. So, President Trump actually put a video out tonight on immigration that I have not seen yet, and I bet it's only about an hour old, so I don't know how many people have seen it. Let's play it. Here's the president tonight.
Today I signed an executive order to launch the first ever self-deportation program for illegal aliens. We are making it as easy as possible for illegal aliens to leave America. Any illegal alien can simply show up at an airport and receive a free flight out of our country. We have also launched a phone app called CBP Home. That's CBP Home, where illegals can book a free flight to any foreign country. As long as it's not here, you can go anywhere you want. We're also adding a very important exit bonus for illegals to further incentivize their self-deportation. This deportation bonus will save American taxpayers billions and billions of dollars. What Biden did to this country can never be explained, will never, ever be accepted. Eventually, when the illegals are gone, it will save us trillions of dollars. However, if illegal aliens choose to remain in America, they're remaining illegally and they will face severe consequences. Illegal aliens who stay in America face punishments including significant jail time, enormous financial penalties, confiscation of all property, garnishment of all wages, imprisonment and incarceration, and sudden deportation in a place and manner solely of our discretion. So to all illegal aliens who book your free flight right now, we want you out of America, but if you're really good, we're going to try and help you get back in. Thank you.
There you go.
Okay. There you
Come
go.
on, man.
Yeah.
And they get a free gift.
He is
I wonder if it's like
hysterical.
I wonder if it's like a My Pillow, so they can sleep on. Mike Lindell's at the airport
Yeah, you
handing
get
them
a
out. There you go.
Snickers and a
Get
neck roll.
out. Get out.
Oh man, that was great. Huh? 1-800-FLY-HOME. They came here that easy.
That's beautiful.
Right? They came here free with those flights with those apps. He's just flipped it around.
Reversing
where,
the
now
process.
it's time to go home,
Yep.
and there you go.
Love it.
Same
Yeah.
process,
Peanuts
by
on
the way.
flight.
Yeah. And I mean, he's right on the cost. He's right about the cost, right? People, when they first saw it, like, what do you mean you're going to pay? And you look at the numbers, it's going to be much cheaper
demonstrably.
to do what he's talking about than do what we've been doing.
The thing is that he said one thing on that I didn't agree with, and that is that we know why they opened the borders and brought them in here. There's a rhyme and reason to this.
Yeah,
there's
redistricting.
redistricting and there's votes. That's why they did all this. It's not an accident. Every time I hear the left talk about this stuff, it drives me crazy because they make it seem like, well, they opened borders. We should have been a little firmer on that. There's no open borders. They just wanted to redistrict and get more votes, and they flooded them in. It was a strategy to happen. And Trump, I'd love to hear Trump just recognize that completely.
Do you
so
remember
we
when
could
the-
just put a pin in it.
Do you remember when the left was going crazy over the Koch brothers bringing in the cheap labor?
Oh, yeah.
And they went haywire. That was their big talking point because, the Koch brothers are not, they're going to try to get slave labor here in the States. And Obama went out of his way to get everybody out of here as fast as he could, but there was no talk then. It just doesn't matter what Trump does. It's completely, they're going to lose their minds no matter what. So I love that he keeps trolling them. It just gets funnier and funnier every time he does it.
No question.
But I do agree with you, Vin, that I think he could come out stronger. Even when he was on NBC with Kristen Welker this past weekend, she asked him about immigration. Of course, they're all caught up in the due process thing. They're all everybody's now about due process and how it affects this. And she asked him something to the effect of, do you not believe in due process? Do you not follow the Constitution anymore? Do you not believe in due process? And he kind of gives this I don't know answer, and I know what he means because he's saying basically I'm waiting for the constitutional attorneys to look at this and tell me ba 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 be ba ba. And Daniel Horowitz writes about this today over at the Blaze, and he says that to your point, he thinks Trump needs to come out a lot stronger on this and be more black and white and say, there's a lot of Supreme Court precedent that backs him up. To say basically deportation is not a punishment. Deportation is not a punishment. It's an administrative action that flows from our national sovereignty. And then there's many Supreme Court, I keep talking about the one specific, I think it was 58, that said no, due process does not confer upon someone here illegally the right to be, number one, be here, or number two, stay here. So I think to your point, he could be a lot more black and white if he wants to. But he wants to kind of play I got to wait and see what our attorneys say. I got to wait and see what all the constitutional experts say. But history backs him up. The facts back him up. The Constitution backs him up. And our own Supreme Court precedent backs him up on this issue, that there is not this due process that any of us would get.
There's two definitions of due process. There's the due process we all share as citizens of this country, and we have our due process. Then there's a due process if you're here illegally. The due process of the process is we're just removing you. That's the due process. That's what nobody understands, especially on the left.
Yeah, due process is not a code word for you get a free trial. That's not in there. It's a matter of filling out the right paperwork. Here's the process. We fill out these paperworks. We determined you were illegal. Here's you going home.
That's the
There
process.
it is. That's the
Process that.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you know what steams my clams, Big D?
Uh-oh.
These
Here we go.
These Marxist Democrat animals so wrapped up in due process. Well, they didn't think about that when some J6ers, completely peaceful, were in jail for years at a time, waiting to see a judge. They said, nah, you can sit here. We're going to beat the potato salad out of you, and you don't get to see a judge. So I'm not buying the whole thing. I'm a little cranky about that. Suddenly due process is important to you. What about when there were real Americans in jail? Well, they're insurrectionists, tried to take over the nation, armed with Trump flags and maybe in arrhythmia, because maybe some of them are in their 50s, like Kevin Downey Jr., who's not saying he was there, not saying he wasn't.
Well, it's like everything, right? They want to wrap themselves in the Constitution when it fits their narrative once, maybe a year. The rest of the time, they want to burn it to the ground. We know that. So what were you going to say?
Well, I'm going to push back on what you said. I like the way Trump's handled it. He's way more diplomatic than he's ever been. He knows he's got facts on his side. He knows he has constitutional law on his side. He does not need to overstate his case in the media anymore. All turns into his negative bullet points. I love the charm. I love the tact. I love his approach to this. I think he's right on. I think he's spot on the way he went soft at it. I don't think he needs to be.
Well, I mean, I hear what you're saying. The problem with that is, though, that not enough people have the time to really look at. Most people listen to what they hear most of the time on the media. And what they hear in the media is that he's not following the Constitution. He's asked about it, and he goes, well, I don't know. And they go, well, what do you mean you don't know? You're the commander-in-chief. You don't follow the Constitution? The president? This is the first time in history. We've never heard anything like this from a president. This is what people hear.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I know how the media is going to spin it no matter what. And I know exactly what, the talking heads are all going to be in line with their mockingbird. But at the end of the day, we don't care what the left thinks anymore. Everyone knows that the leftist media is a joke. Everyone knows everything that comes out of their mouth is a lie with like 7% truth just to keep you on track. So I don't think people care anymore. I know I don't.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. I don't know that we're still the majority of people.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I do believe the left is brainwashed to thinking that Biden could have used legislation to get these people out and to stop all this immigration. And the reality is that's baloney. It's malarkey. He should have been asked that question on The View, by the way. How could Trump in a couple of weeks stop it and you couldn't do it and you had to pass legislation to do it? That's the narrative that I want Trump to speak louder about because they think that this was optional, like this was a mistake.
All right, more about this. We'll do some sports and news with everybody coming back on a Friday night, the America First Warehouse, right after this. It's just way too long.
Yo, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
All right, let me get Kevin. Let's get you out on the floor, right? Doing it now.
Yeah, if you got something.
Did you meet Harry? Did Harry let you in? 'Cause I thought they were locking it up. Okay. Thanks for coming, bro. Yeah, D, the only thing I was going to add to that was we're seeing more and more people from the far left come closer to center because
Check.
they're all starting to see the nonsense. Like, who was
Andrew to the front, please. Where's Andrew?
You see that politician from California talking about?
There he is.
I put it on my X feed. I'll share with you, but I just think more and more people are just not buying into how far left the left really has gotten. So.
I'll make a stupid joke or something. Okay. Is there something you want to say?
Well, when they were saying about asking a question, I didn't know how the ask was going to go. If it was going to go to you or to the panel, I was going to say with the Pope in the new Pope in the news.
Let's do that.
What was
Yep. All right.
How's that question going to be?
That's when he's in.
I'll just say.
I voted for the fellow.
Say anything? Any questions? You go. Yeah, I got a question about the Pope, and then you'll say.
Okay.
And then
See what the panel thinks about the.
Yeah.
Chat. Live in the chat.
Great producer. Don't fuck it up. Yeah, it's actually the best way to handle
I'll
it.
probably finish with or else.
Yeah, or else.
What happened?
1 minute.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I sent that early, too, I
Check
thought.
boom.
Without a doubt. The next break.
Check boom.
No.
Hey, David, that's the young man Glenn I was telling you about.
Yes. Okay, thank
He
you.
wants to give out some free T-shirts. Cool.
Erin said you dressed like an asshole. That's the truth. She just said it. I'm kidding. She goes, what the hell?
Yeah. I can't believe she said that.
She goes, what the hell are you telling him? Shut up.
Why would she say that out loud?
From the booth.
Is that your icebreaker for the interview?
Yeah.
That was good.
I'll introduce you.
Okay.
Welcome back, Patriots. Welcome back to the America First Warehouse. Ladies and gentlemen, is this not the most patriotic venue you've ever seen?
Oh, yeah.
OMG. Folks, we are here with Patriot Andrew. Andrew, where did you get tickets tonight?
On your show.
Oh, you mean the Kevin Downey Jr. show?
That would be the Kevin Downey Jr. show.
Which can be heard from Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at linewsradio.com worldwide. Is that the one?
I think that's exactly the one, Kev. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure.
I'm not a cheap plug whore. He said it, not me. I totally said it. Andrew, do you have a question, a statement, anything for the boys tonight?
You know, with what's going on in the news, we always have a 24 hours news cycle and everything's always changing. But the biggest news these last couple days, since I've been a Catholic myself for my 48 years on this planet, I'd like to hear what the panel has to think about our new, for the first time ever, American Pope, right?
Yeah.
American Pope. Can I go first? Andrew, Catholic as well. I've been beaten by nuns. I deserved it.
Ditto. Been there, done that.
I'm afraid this guy might be a little Marxy for me.
He is from Chicago.
He is from Chicago, and that's reason enough not to vote for him. Turn it over to the boys. Big D, what do you guys got for Andrew here, talking about the Pope?
All right, KDJ, thanks very much. Live from Studio 6B, we're back. I think...
We talked about it last night.
Well, we talked a little bit about it last night. Yeah, and I think my feeling on it is a little different. I've tried to stay positive. That I think. I think the Holy Spirit picks the Pope, not politics. You know, and I think. Are there going to be things that if you go through his X feed, and he was pretty active, is he going to say some things or written about some things or retweeted some things that we probably don't agree with? Absolutely. I think that there's absolutely going to be, without a doubt. But when you think about the first American Pope, you think about what it does for the church here. You think about bringing back people to the church, young people to the church. I think you have to go into it thinking that this is a great moment for the church, for Catholics all around the world, and I think it's good for us here in the U.S.
Yeah, I agree, and I also think Trump has brought faith back to the White House, to our mindset, to the country, and totally. Having an American Pope is awesome. The dude went to Villanova. I mean, come on. How cool is that? Just in general. And he's a man, and he I do believe the selection process has some spirituality to it in getting picked. But stay out of politics.
No chance.
Be positive, enlighten us, and help us, be better people and those types of things. But that's kind of where I land with the Pope in general.
Rick?
I'm not really sure where I land with this Pope just yet. Like I said last night, 69-year-old guy poking around on X all the time talking about politics. Probably not the smartest move.
No.
But somehow to me, I think, and this is just a theory, Damon. You know how I like to have my theories.
Yes.
Yeah,
Throwing out a theory.
Okay, here we go.
I love those.
I'm thinking he was picked.
You think he thought
Wait for it. Wait for it. I'm thinking he was picked as a foil to Trump.
100%.
Wow.
That's just why that's just what I think, because they're thinking, how do we offset this guy from basically taking over and pushing everybody around and putting the United States back where it should be? How do we offset that? How do we counter that to stay with the globalists, right? So that let's bring in a Pope. And the Pope is going to be on the other side of things. And you know what? Maybe they don't see eye to eye on things. And maybe he's going to do a few things that the president is going to like. And now people got to make that choice. Do I support the president or to support the Pope? Right? It's just a theory.
Yeah, and I think it's a bad one because I think that lessens. I think that lessens the process of who is making these selections and how they do it and what it means to them. It's a theory, but
80% of these cardinals were picked by the most recent Pope. So he had his guy waltzed right in. There was that.
Yeah, two things. Remember, Pope Francis made a deal with China, letting them pick a bunch of cardinals. And I think, yeah. And you know what steams my clams? I'll tell you, my favorite pope ever, Pope John Paul. From Poland.
Yeah.
He gave a speech where he told his people in Poland, under communist rule, get off your bellies. And they did. And they beat communism in Poland. And at that point, I think the globalists and the communists said, we need to do something about this Pope situation. And I think that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah, I'm with you completely. And I'm with Delgado. I think the Pope is a fully political position. It is a massive power in the globalist strategy. It's got massive wealth, maybe the most wealth in the world. There's probably banking, the BIS, the Business of International Settlements. This is a monstrous organization, and I think he's a fully anti-Trump, anti-Vance type of guy, and I think they just picked some kind of enemy to subvert Trump and the America First agenda. The last pope, not remotely thrilled with, and I'm with you 100% on John Paul.
And can I add, let me just add this, Big D. I don't think the fight we're going through now is donkey versus elephant, red versus blue. I think this is good versus evil.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to take our good pope away with a pinko pope because they saw what Pope John Paul did, and they said, all right, we need to take over that too.
And globalism is global communism.
Slick?
Yep.
Yeah, well, let's see how he navigates it. He already got himself in some hot water because it came out that he was a Chicago Cubs fan. So I'm going to get sports involved. And now he lives on the south side of Chicago. You know, there's the Chicago White Sox on the south side of Chicago at Comiskey Park, right? So right now, we'll see how he toes that line as he does the political landscape. But overall, Big D, I'm obviously going to wait and see, but I'm very skeptic about this guy. Not only because he's from Illinois, but because I just got my gut feeling about this. So we'll see. I like your theory about, let the Holy Spirit lead. Let's hope that's the case. But the foil to Trump, very good point.
I don't think the Christian faith growing again in the country can be bad with the attack on the nuclear family and everything else.
True.
Well, Christianity is growing.
I don't see how it can
It
be
is,
bad.
no doubt.
That's my core point.
Young people are back in church now.
exactly.
Young people. I know this for a
Right,
fact.
but they were coming back to the church before this guy became pope.
they were.
So.
Oh, yeah, this has been going on for the last couple of years, this movement.
All right, 36 past the hour, live from Studio
See what you
6B
did?
on a Friday night. Let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Slickster's got it. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, Big D, well, let's get to the scoreboard. First and foremost, NHL playoffs. To the ice we go. Now, unfortunately, no Islanders or Rangers for the New York fans that are in the audience tonight. However, we got a good one down in Florida. Panthers and Maple Leafs tied at 3. Game 3. Toronto leading that series right now 2-0 and midway through the second period. So a lot of hockey left to be played in that one. Stars are taking on the Jets up in Winnipeg. Winnipeg is a lot of folks' favorites to win it all. And right now, Dallas leading that series 1-0. Game 2 tonight, 9:30 puck drop. To the NBA we go. Knicks are on tomorrow, 3:30 in the afternoon. New York Knicks. So everybody's excited about that. But this is a national show, so we got a lot of folks that like to watch all over the country. And we got the Pacers right now trailing the Cavaliers 48-38. Indiana leads that series 2-0. And we all know that when a team goes down 3 games to none in the NBA, it's almost completely over. 95% of the time, that team will fail in the playoffs. So 48-38, Cavaliers in a must-win game. 6 to go there in the second quarter. Thunder taking on the Nuggets, and that is a 10 p.m. tip-off out in Denver. Game 3, series tied at 1. I got time for one story. Of course, it's ad nauseum, but I bring you the wide world of transgender in sports. Almost every night I got to bring that to you. Remember the classic ABC line? Well, Charles Barkley, very outspoken, was a Sixers fan too. I'm a Sixers fan. Barkley blasts stupid supporters of trans athletes. Dylan Gwynn at Breitbart. Right? Makes a lot of sense. This story will make a lot. I don't have a clip, but I certainly have the story. NBA Hall of Famer Charles Barkley left no doubt where he stands on the issue of men playing in women's sports during an interview with Outkick's Dan Dakich on Thursday. He really doesn't like it. I'm going to make this very simple for you, Dan. Barkley said on Don't At Me with Dan Dakich, men should not play sports against women. I'm not going to go into all that BS. He didn't say it quite that way. That's going out on that they're hearing the world today. Barkley said men should not play against women. If anybody thinks that, I think they are stupid. I support the gay community 100%. I support the transgender community 100%, but I do not, under any circumstances, think that men should play against women. In early February, mere weeks after taking office, President Trump rewrote federal Title IX education rules to withhold federal funds from schools that allow transgender athletes to play as females. Barkley quickly denied any suggestion that he would change his mind based on criticism of his statements. If anybody has a problem with that, they're going to have to get over it, because I'm not going to change my mind. I just think it's wrong, period. He added, I don't even think that's controversial. I don't want to hear you try to explain it to me. No. I don't want to hear it. I'm not going to argue that men shouldn't play against women. I'm done. And Barkley's a big voice in the NBA. I think CNN was talking about getting a show. So he has a big name out there, and he's clearly against the obvious. I was telling the guys, I can't believe we're still talking about this. How stupid it is. It should have been shut down from day one. You transgender, get whatever. You cannot have men playing against women in sports. No way, no how, no compromise. And obviously this show certainly supports that big thing. And that's a wrap in sports. Back to you.
All right, very good. It always is. It's always nice to see some guy in sports take a basic common sense position with 99.9% of the rest of the country.
And that's somehow it's still controversial.
They passed a law in Georgia, didn't they? Just recently, we marveled that we're at a point where we have to pass a law for this.
Governor did.
They've been doing it around the country, passing these laws in different states. And you're right. It's idiotic that we actually have to say, okay. It's like directions on your Pop-Tart box. You open it, you put it in the toaster, you put the toaster down. That's it.
Don't eat the wrapper.
Right. You shouldn't have to worry about directions for something as simple as that. But that's where we are. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna jump on the Barkley train on this one. And here's why. We've been talking about this for the last couple of years. How come he only says it now?
Yeah.
Because of who's in the office.
Exactly. If Biden was in there, he'd be...
Biden was in the office, or another Democrat was in the office, he
wouldn't towing a company line.
He wouldn't say anything, because he'd be like, I don't want to get canceled. But now he sees people going, oh, wow, it's okay. You can wear the red hat.
Yeah.
You can wear the T-shirt. You can say this now.
Hey, Stephen A. Smith is out there, right? He's speaking out.
Stephen A. Stephen A. said it before him.
Yeah.
And Stephen A. may be on the ballot for president, right? Stephen A. from
Stephen
Smith.
A.'s talking common sense.
Yeah.
I think they're conflating two things in general. First off, I love Charles Barkley. I love what he said. It was just clean, plain English, right? But they're conflating two things. There's the trans thing that's going on in the world, okay. And then there's boys playing in girls' sports. They're completely different things. Because you're against boys playing in girls' sports doesn't mean you're against anybody. It's just beyond common sense. And Charles Barkley, I understand it might be a little late to the party, but you know what? Join the party, because this needs to be said by powerful people and influential people.
Exactly.
I've mentioned this before. I have a daughter. She played sports. I mean, we'd be calling the mob to bring in people if they did this at the school that she went to.
No doubt.
And there are a lot of fathers and mothers and parents that go to these school board meetings, and I'm bewildered watching these meetings go on, and you see the people behind there defending this. And the parents are like so outraged by it. Who do they work for, by the way?
Yeah.
Who do all these people work for?
Right. I totally agree. All right, live from Studio 6B. We'll try to find something that Delgado agrees with here before the end of the show as we continue on. God,
What?
Such a hater, this guy. What? Nothing satisfies him.
A little point, counterpoint. It's okay. All right.
I want to have it right here. Oh, no. we're right here. What? Hell yeah. Right here for sure.
We're all set.
And that's 13.
Yeah, I mean.
This, then I got to wrap it up, and we'll swing back to the boys. Hey, Palazzo, where's your steak? Yeah. Hey, Jessica, this is Tom. Basically Tom. Tom, this is Jessica. Check, check. Sounds good. I do. Sorry. I didn't even mean to. So, Harry, Joe the Box up next. Okay. Yeah. And then we got to find someone after that. We could, a lot of people.
30 seconds.
Yeah, we'll do it. We could do it. What is this? Yeah, we'll do it right. We could do it right now. Yep.
I just want to discuss AI a little bit and how fast.
Welcome back, baby. Live from Studio 6B at the America First Warehouse on Long Island. Don't say in or we'll stab you. We're not in Long Island, we're on it. Folks, with me is Patriot Tom. Let's hear it for Patriot Tom. Patriot Tom, where did you get tickets for the show tonight?
I got my tickets from the Kevin Downey Jr. show that I listen to every day.
Whoa! Thank you. Is that the one at linewsradio.com worldwide?
I actually downloaded the app because I was constantly getting in and out of the truck. I'm a truck driver, and I was missing a lot getting in and out. So now I get to carry my phone with me and hear it all day.
Get the LI News app or you're a communist, is what Tom just said. I heard it, you heard it. Tom, do you have a question, a statement, anything you want to say?
My only statement would be, I don't know how many of the guys up here are from Long Island, but these windmills that are going in. Oh. I've written to Trump, I've written to Lee Zeldin, and I really haven't gotten an answer on them yet. But I know these ugly things are going to be right off of our beaches. We have the best beaches, on the coast here.
You know why they don't have them on, let's say, Martha's Vineyard?
Yeah.
Because to them, a windmill is kind of like an illegal alien. Yeah. Like, we want them here, but not in our yard. Sticking to the boys. What do you think, boys? What do you think about the windmills? Let's get back to the boys at Live from Studio 6B. Go!
All right, Kevin Downey.
Kevin Kevin's getting more plugs in for his show than Hair Club for Men.
Come on, Kevin, you have a radio show?
Yeah, you have a radio show?
I'm thinking about getting one. You should probably do one, now that you said it.
Actually, we're on that show right now. We're on the air right now, 103.9.
I don't know. I'm not an expert in the windmills on Long Island. Slick, what do you know about this?
I know that they don't belong here. That's what I know. I'm not crazy about them. That's for sure. That's all I need to know. They got to go. They're not for us.
You know what I know, Big D? The left went nuts when they found one straw in the nose of one living turtle. But in 1 year, we had 16 dead whales between our southern shore of Long Island and Atlantic City, which is a ghetto.
Yeah.
Right.
They were probably stabbed there. They probably went and said, I'm going to get I'm a whale. I'm going to get a Zeppeli. Oh, no.
Yeah.
So I'm against them.
Well, by the way, that brings up another point about the Republicans where we started the show. Why have we not repealed the Green New Deal, given the expense of it, and the Inflation Reduction Act, more importantly, given the expense of that? I mean, doing nothing to obviously reduce inflation. It really was a green energy bill.
Yeah.
Why have we not repealed it? Why don't even we talk about it?
I actually have a little rant on that because I was thinking about that today when Sean Duffy's been talking about all the infrastructure stuff with the FAA and all the radar and all that stuff and what they're going to upgrade. By the way, just hearing this makes me embarrassed. This is the greatest country in the world, and we have technology that's 60 years old in our major infrastructure.
Ridiculous.
But when you go back to this infrastructure bill. You go back to how it started. It started at $712 billion. Then it went to $1.2 trillion. Then it went up to $4 trillion. They're doing all of these things, supposedly. And now our guys come in and they're like, well, wait a second. We got to upgrade all these. Isn't this part of the infrastructure? Isn't this part of what you should be doing? They did nothing. That money was going to places that obviously weren't helping this country. And Pete Buttigieg, I mean, really? Talk about, did I even say his name right? I don't even care.
I think it's pronounced Pete Butt Giggles.
Pete Butt Giggles.
I thought it was Booty Jump.
But he not only did nothing, had no competence and no idea of what he was doing, but here's Sean Duffy coming in. And if anybody looks at a map when people are flying, the entire country's covered with planes. This is the way we travel now. You know, planes are everywhere. And to even have one iota of old technology in there to put, hundreds of people at risk every day. More than every flight's got a couple hundred people in it, and just start doing the math. So Sean Duffy comes in, they're upgrading it all, and all I can think about is, where's this infrastructure bill? What happened?
Yeah. Well, it's always a boondoggle somewhere.
Of course.
All right. 59 minutes till the hour. Paul Nolan's here. And Paul, I wanted to get to you because I wanted to get to you have a thing on AI that you're looking at. And tell us about it.
Well, no, I've just been putting a lot of time into how fast it's growing and how quickly it's growing and how, unless you got an exceptional space in your business, there's a very good chance you're going to be replaced. This is what is a concern.
Yeah.
I've been looking into it for a couple of weeks now, and it's frightening how fast it's learning from itself. And we have these tech oligarchs like Zuckerberg. I got a couple clips. There's nothing funny about it. The guy's a human Xanax. He speaks, and you just start to nod off. But he's a diabolical mind. And he's talking about how people are lonely, and he's on a podcast, this tech podcast, talking about people are lonely and they're isolated, and a lot of us would agree that that's part of social media. Our kids are getting mangled because every algorithm is specifically designed for you, to attack you, to send ads to you, to make you react in a certain way, to stay on and click longer. Some of the things that they were doing in their ads were horrifying, but now he's talking about in this clip, I got two clips, one's a minute, the other's 45 seconds. So if I could hold your attention for these in two parts, I'd love your reaction to it. I know none of you guys have seen it. I want to know how the audience feels about this wacko. And I think there's more between the lines, Delgado, in this than you might think at face value. So if we can get the first clip, I would love everyone to be able to pay attention to what he envisions going forward.
I do think that people are going to use AI for a lot of these social tasks. Already one of the main things that we see people using Meta AI for is kind of talking through difficult conversations that they need to have with people in their life. It's like, okay, my I'm having this issue with my girlfriend or whatever, like help me have this conversation, or like I need to have this hard conversation with my boss at work, like how do I have that conversation? That's pretty helpful. And then I think as the personalization loop kicks in and the AI just starts to get to know you better and better, I think that will just be really compelling. One thing just from working on social media for a long time
You're right, Paul.
is there's the stat that I always think is crazy. The average American, I think,
This
has
guy could put a
I think
can
it's
of
fewer
Red
than
Bull to
3
sleep.
friends.
Certainly could. Terrible.
He really is. He's like a robot like himself.
Yeah.
But like you hear that, like the personalization loop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And this is the guy who's talking about people are lonely, creating artificial intelligence friends online. Think about I hate Netflix and I can't cut that subscription. What is someone going to pay for an online friend?
Yeah. I can speak to this in great detail because I'm actually in this space.
You have an online girlfriend?
I have several online girlfriends. I have an online and millionaire friend as well. But I'm involved in AI. The most valuable piece, other than the audience of TikTok and even Facebook, are the algorithm, the software behind the algorithm. TikTok has done a phenomenal job with that. That's why they've grown so fast. But if you think about Facebook and social media in general, you have friends on Facebook. Many of them you probably never even talk to. You don't even know where they are half the time. It's just someone that you're connected to on Facebook. So they're sort of like an avatar in a sense. Yeah. They're people you know, but you don't interact with really. That's what's happened to our youth. They have these sort of artificial friendships. AI and the ability to create a human avatar that can interact with you, that's real. That is happening right now. I'm actually building one for a deceased music artist. We're bringing her back to life. We're doing it in a positive way. We're trying to use the technology to make people happy and do good things. But on the other side of this is an entire community of friends that are fake.
Before we cut, there's an article in Forbes. This could be your AI robot girlfriend for $175,000. This is getting to the point of
Slick, you got the
demented.
American Express with you tonight?
I need 3 of them.
All right, that's a wrap on hour 1. Hour 2 coming back live from Studio 6B at the America First Warehouse right after this.
Chat. We on the chat, Big D? Oh, come on. YouTube chat. Drag Blacker. $5. Here's $5 for Damon to get brain food for Delgado to come up with better theories. Delgado, come on. Drag Blacker gave $5. Big deal. But that's all right. We'll take it.
So that's like 80 cents for you to
Thank you, Drag Blacker.
Right. To be insulted.
We love you.
Thanks for the 80 cents and the insult.
Yeah.
Vin, I had so much more to this because, one of the things Zuckerberg was talking about with friendship, there was another clip that goes even further to the crazy. His ads were, they had a program in their algorithm that was anytime a girl deleted a selfie between the age of 13 and 17 years old, they would immediately, the next thing she would see in her feed was a self-help / beauty ad. And anytime a girl wrote the word worthless, insecure, defeated, anxious, failure, or anything along those lines, they would immediately get an ad that gave them some kind of a beauty aid. What are you doing to a 13 to 17-year-old girl? I mean, teenage kids aren't insecure enough. You're going to attack them?
Well, you're talking about ads, right? Think about information and manipulating their minds.
And they manipulate their news.
That's where the danger is.
Without that, they talk about...
If they can do what you just said, they can propagate
anything.
Absolutely anything.
Anything.
100%.
Without that.
It's like Mean Girls on steroids.
It is.
Exactly
right. It is. It's a great example.
Exactly what it
Mean
is.
Girls on steroids.
Yeah. They know exactly how to push your buttons, and they know exactly how to drive into your deepest fears.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why everybody's feed is so unique.
Hey, Dame, can we talk about the New Jersey thing when we come back from the break?
Yeah, let's do some news with Delgado first, and then let me get to Kevin, and then we can go to that.
We have some folks from New Jersey too tonight.
New Jersey.
Yep. New Jersey in the house. Jersey in the house. There we go. KDJ on the mic again.
The thing with some of that AI stuff you're talking about, though, the believability of the avatars is at a level that I won't know it's not you. It'll sound like you. It'll have all your cadences.
Yep.
It'll look like you.
It's amazing.
So it's amazing if you use it for the good things, but it could be really dangerous. That's where Elon Musk is coming from with all this. It's
that's the problem.
Genius, but.
Live from Studio 6B at the America First Warehouse. Glad you're in on a Friday night. We got a big crowd here, and they are jacked up, ready to go. Hour 2, a lot more to get to. We're going to get to Rick Delgado's news. We're going to get to Kevin Downey Jr. as well. More with Paul Nolan, more sports with Slick, more Vinnie Mac, Aaron Fran holding it down, Harry on the highway out there as well. Right now, let's go to Kevin Downey Jr., who, by the way, has a radio show. It's the Kevin Downey Jr. radio show, heard right here on 103.9 LI News Radio, and he is standing by with a very special guest. Who you got, Kev?
Yeah, baby. Folks, I'm sitting here with Joe the Box. He built this place. Joe the Box, one of the most patriotic people on the planet. He created the America First Warehouse. Joe, what inspired you? What made you say, now is the time, I got to save this country?
I can only tell you it's a great time to be an American right now. Our great president, Donald Trump, is making it happen. Everything around here, everything that you see was created by God. Divine inspiration, God coming back to the nation, one nation under God. It's an incredible time to be an American.
Is it indivisible with liberty and justice for all?
You know the whole thing, justice for all.
Yeah, baby.
Not just a few, for all.
For all. Thank you, Joe. Let's kick it back to Big D.
All right, Kevin Downey Jr. with Joe the Box at the America First Warehouse, and we're always, Joe and his team are always so welcoming. We're happy to be here. Hour 2, lots to get to. We'll get to more sports, more Vinnie Mac, more Paul Nolan, but let's start with some news. Top of the hour, and here with that is Rick Delgado. Mr. Delgado, what's going on?
All right, so you want to get mad at me, Damon, again? Sure, of course. Why
no,
not?
I don't want to get mad at you. I just want you to find something that you agree with here tonight.
Well, let me see how this...
Water is wet. Well, let me tell you something, Damon.
It depends. Is it being sprayed in the air? Is it a... Oh, I'm kidding. Anyhow. This is a story that we've been talking about since President Trump took office, since he was inaugurated for his second term. Even before that, as a matter of fact, it's the Epstein story, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wants to know what's going on with the Epstein files. When are we going to see somebody? When are we going to get an arrest of someone that wasn't actually involved in doing it, procuring the girls, but actually announced thousands of videos? Boggles the mind, but here it is, cut number 1. Check it out for yourself.
Yesterday, Attorney General of the United States Pam Bondi was at the White House and disclosed what she represented as brand new information in relation to Jeffrey Epstein. The existence of tens of thousands of videos featuring little children.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn.
Now, this is the first time an official has publicly acknowledged that videos of Epstein and his victims exist. What you may not know is just 9 days prior, the Attorney General had a very similar conversation with a total stranger in a restaurant.
Do you know when the Epstein files are going to get released?
We hope soon. FBI has been.
Okay.
So,
any dates?
No, you know what it is? There are tons and thousands of videos. Yeah. And it's all with little kids. So they have to go through every one.
In the past, officials have spoken about the, quote, mountain of evidence in the Epstein case, but they've never, previous to that moment, acknowledged on the existence of videos of, quote, little kids. Just a few days later, at 2 p.m. on May 1st, our reporter sent the AG's office the text of the recording. We asked why this detail had not been disclosed to the public, but was instead being told to a random stranger at a restaurant.
And that is my big issue with this. 9 days before she had to come out and say, by the way, and probably the only reason why she came out and said anything about the videos is because she got busted talking about the videos to a random stranger who turned out to be an undercover reporter with James O'Keefe. So it begs the question.
She sat down for lunch with someone she didn't know just because she felt like it that day?
I don't know who she was sitting with, but that person was, quote unquote, a nanny.
Was it an interview for a nanny, right?
Right, something like that.
So they
an interview with a nanny who asked her about Epstein and she answered?
And she answered. That is the problem. Why would she tell some random stranger in a restaurant, and it's recorded, they sent her the video, they sent her the audio. What did they do the next couple days? Oh, we better get out in front of this before it comes out. Begs the question, why is she sharing that with some random person as opposed to 2 months ago when she got into the office saying, we got all this stuff, including videos that we have to go through, so it's going to take a little while. That's all she would have had to say, but she didn't say it. Why didn't she? That's question number one. Question number two is, let's see, why can't we get a list of people that were involved? Again, because I'll put this up against the Diddy case. We know all the celebrities attached to those Diddy parties, don't we? Yep. Diddy party. This guy went to the Diddy party. This girl went to the Diddy. We got J-Lo. We got Drake. We got this guy. We got this guy. We have all these celebrities. Right. We got all these people going to Diddy parties, and they're all on a list. Well, we got a lot of people that went to an Epstein Island, and we don't have a list.
I never went to a Diddy party.
You know what? I have, and I got to say they were way better before he went to jail and Lizzo took over. Now they're just grotesque.
Yes.
You know what? On this Epstein thing, the point you make is a really good one. She should not be talking about this stuff.
Well, that's why I made it. Yes.
But fast forward to some of the speculation.
You think she sat with a total stranger interviewing for a nanny and talked about Epstein with them? That's what you think happened?
I think she shouldn't have said anything. Yeah.
No.
What do you think happened?
She got busted.
Yeah, what do you
She got busted.
I just don't think she was interviewing. I don't think that person's an interview for a nanny.
Oh, well.
But the Attorney General of the United States? Hey, let's meet down at the Four Seasons so I can interview a nanny and I'm going to talk about the Epstein files with her? Does that seem strange to you?
No. The woman identified herself as a nanny, but she was at a brunch. So they were at a restaurant together. I guess maybe she just decided to ask her some questions.
And she decided just to answer?
And she answered.
She answered him. That's how I see it, too.
Not good.
Just some random person.
I mean, the video's there. You hear her voice. That's her. She's saying it.
I did not know that.
I did not know that.
That is weird, wacky stuff. That is weird.
So what do you think, Vic?
Here's where I wanted to get the Rick's opinion on this, because I know he's into some of these theories, that are out there.
It's a theory.
And regarding Epstein, I'm warming up to the idea that this is much deeper in terms of some involvement of a government with Epstein. He recorded everything. Mm-hmm. He has all this money. He has all these powerful people, to the point even like the Tennessee senator you were talking about. Like there's something on someone. It seems like a colossal effort to have something on a lot of powerful people on both sides of the aisle, that Epstein was somehow involved in something. Hence, why it's so hard to get anything out. Like, we have seen the CIA behind some really serious stuff that's just coming out now. I'm not suggesting it's the CIA, but that is a theory. There's a theory. It's so incestuous.
I'll suggest it.
Yeah.
I'll come out and say it.
You'll second that emotion?
Paul. It's the CIA every time.
So then one of the things you have to understand about this honeypotting, the greatest currency in politics is blackmail.
Yeah.
You can't evade it. You can't get away from it. And like you were saying about the senator, there's a lot of BS little deals, then it's still an embarrassment. It'll still get you out of your gushy job, stealing the taxpayer money. But when you get to this higher level, think about it. If you're Epstein and you've got everybody from like corporate espionage, you sell that video to the highest bidder. And that comes from Pfizer, that comes from bankers, that comes from government. So to say he's worked for any one agency, I would say he worked for whoever paid him the most.
Yeah.
But I want to come to the O'Keefe thing from a different angle. This shows a lot of credibility for O'Keefe. To go after, his side, so to speak, it lends credence to everything he does going forward. So the crazy lefties who call him, a conspiracy theorist and all the things that he's done, this fully validates him as a journalist. So I'm confused on the video. This is the first I'm seeing it. I was waiting for it. I didn't have time to get with this today. But I'd like to get more context of what happened on it. It does seem a little strange to me.
You think?
Why would she be blabbing that around?
Yeah, it's dangerous.
In
a restaurant.
It's in a restaurant.
I mean, if all the things the Attorney General knows that are going on that she has never said anything about, I'm not really sure what the news is that, okay, yes, she said this to supposedly whatever that situation that we watched on video is.
Yes.
But then to say it a week later to the press in public, I'm not sure what the disconnect is. You know how many things she knows that she probably hasn't said about things that are going on that she may state facts later about what's going on? What's the news in that?
The news is, why did she wait? Why not include that early on? She had binders made. She had to know they had videos. So she could have said, we gave you a binder, there's a lot of videos, we can't go through them all right away, it's going to take a lot of time. That's all she had to say. 2 months ago she could have said that. They knew they had the videos.
But how has it changed anything that she waited, I guess is what I'm asking.
Because maybe she never intended to tell anybody about the videos until this was dropped on their doorstep a couple days before she made the statement, because O'Keefe said, hey, we've got this, do you want to comment on it? And he said they made no comment on it. And now to get out in front of this, they got to make a statement.
We knew he made videos, though. I mean,
right.
It's common knowledge that he was videoing.
But nobody knew where they were. Nobody knew who had them.
Right, okay.
That was the problem.
Yeah.
All right, what else is going on in the news, Delgado?
Let's see. Well, your favorite fatty and mine, Letitia James.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, she's back.
Crack,
she's back,
bang,
and,
bang.
she's hungry. Hungry for some justice, she says.
Oh, yeah.
Angry, as a matter of fact.
Big Mac attack.
Here she is ranting and raving, cut number 13, about, being indicted, or at least being under investigation. Cut number 13, check out Letitia.
And you want me to sit in my seat and stand idly by and allow this craziness to happen? Yeah. You can come after me if you want, but you elected me to stand up. You elected me to use the law. You elected me to go to court. You elected me to continue to challenge this administration. You elected me to stand up for the least of God's children. You elected me to continue fighting on.
God, we've got to be quicker on the bomb.
When they scream, they're wrong.
Yeah. Anytime
That's when they scream. The louder they scream.
Anytime you're yelling, you're losing.
When was that from? I thought today she was at some round table sitting there, and some guy confronted her about it.
Yeah, some guy confronted. That, I think, was from the day before. And then, of course, following that, we get this today, cut 14, which is music to my ears. Cut 14.
Fox News confirms that the Justice Department has launched a criminal investigation into New York Attorney General Letitia James over alleged mortgage fraud. James denies the allegations and says she's being targeted by the Trump administration.
There she is.
New York, before you share too loud, they just gave her $10 million for her legal fund out of your taxpayer money.
Oh, man, that's disgusting.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night, the America First Warehouse. We got more to do. We're back right after this.
$10 million of taxpayer money to fight this?
Yep.
$10 million.
Democrats. New York. But Trump has to sign that into law. He has to sign the bill.
Yeah, right. But Trump, you know.
Did the stream go down?
Greg, you want to give out some free t-shirts?
How are you, man? Oh, well, what do you think? And let's not talk about the private jets, the hotel rooms that you and I can't afford, and he went embezzled for everything, and they deserve kicking him off.
Oh, sound like the blues on a Friday night at the America First Warehouse. Tax day may have passed, but for millions of Americans, the real trouble's just beginning. If you missed the April 15th deadline or still owe back taxes, the IRS is ramping up enforcement. Every day you wait only makes things worse, with over 5,000 new tax liens filed daily. Looks like property seizures, bank levies, and wage garnishments are ramping up. The IRS is applying pressure at levels we haven't seen in years. Increased administrative scrutiny means collections are moving fast. The good news, well, there's still time for Tax Network USA to help. Self-employed or a business owner, even if your books are a mess, they've got you covered. If your books look like Harry on the Highway has been doing them for you, don't you worry, they've got you covered. Tax Network USA specializes in cleaning up financial chaos and getting you back on track, and they'll do it fast. Even after the deadline, it's not too late to regain control. Your consultation is completely free, and acting now could stop penalties, threatening letters, and surprise levies before they escalate. Call 1-800-905-8000, 1-800-905-8000, or visit tnusa.com, tnusa.com/RAV. That's tnusa.com/RAV. You may have missed April 15th, but you haven't run out of options. Let Tax Network USA help before the IRS makes the next move. Call 1-800-905-8000 or visit tnusa.com/RAV. Well, let me talk to you about our friends at Birch Gold. You know, this July, there's a global summit of BRICS nations that's happening in Rio de Janeiro. The bloc of emerging superpowers, including China, Russia, India, and Iran, are meeting with the goal of displacing the U.S. dollar as the global currency. They're calling this the Rio Reset. As BRICS nations push towards their plans, global demand for U.S. dollars will decrease, bringing down the value of dollars in your savings. While this transition won't happen overnight, the Rio Reset in July marks a pivotal moment when BRICS objectives more decisively from theoretical possibilities towards inevitable reality. Learn if diversifying your savings into gold is right for you. Birch Gold Group can help you move your hard-earned savings into a tax-sheltered IRA in precious metals. Claim your free information kit on gold right now by texting the word America to 989898. Birch Gold has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Thousands of satisfied customers. Let Birch Gold arm you with a free no-obligation information kit on owning gold before July and the Rio Reset. Text America to the number 989898 and do it today. All right, 19 past the hour, live from Studio 6B at the America First Warehouse on a Friday night. Kevin Downey Jr. is the host of the Kevin Downey Jr. Show, 9 to 11, weekday mornings right here on 103.9 LI News Radio, where some are listening to us right now, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, 8 to 10, and we appreciate being there. Thanks to everybody at JVC Broadcasting. And you can hear Kevin weekday mornings, 9 to 11 there, but he's here tonight. Mr. Downey Jr., how are you?
I'm lovely. Thank you. Thank you, Big D. I'm going to be honest, I'm a little cranky. There is a situation in New Jersey.
Uh-oh.
They know what's about to happen. So I'm not going to... I'll read the one line in my broadcaster's voice. Here we go. Wild scenes out of New Jersey where Newark Mayor Ray Baraka, a Democrat, has been arrested. Here's what happened. There's an ICE facility, and the mayor of Newark decided he was going to be a tough guy, and they plowed in, and they forced their way into it. They brought a handful of Democrat reps who... I guess they're just not as famous as Jasmine Crockett and AOC. So they figure they'll fight their way in. Reps Bonnie Coleman, LaMonica McIver, and Rob Menendez. Hey, I think his uncle just went to prison.
They're getting off soon.
That is Jersey.
They're getting out.
So they decided, illegal immigrants are too important to lose. We need them. So they charged into an ICE station in Newark, and they got arrested. Now, they just said, we want to inspect the place, make sure, blah, blah, blah. What they're trying to do, everyone, is make sure that our replacements are not in an ICE detention center. They want to make sure they're on the ground, raping and murdering. Why? That's why they were sent here, let's face it. I'm not afraid to say it. England, you want to arrest me? Come and get me, bro. I don't care. I will speak until I'm dead. Thank you.
There you go.
These Marxist animals are trying to make a name for themselves. They have no clue how dumb they are. They're what Vladimir Lenin called useful idiots. Now remember, some pinko, I don't know his name, he said something once. He said, the issue is never the issue is always the revolution. So in this situation, it's all about make sure that the illegal immigrants are safe. They don't care about that. They just want them on the streets causing trouble and replacing us. And the Democratic Party has been taken over. It's one of the 45 goals of communism, take over one or both of the political parties, and they've taken over the communists. And some of the Republican parties, look at you, Mitch McConnell, you better retire soon. You're old and you're a statue. But, this is insane to me. This is anti-American. This is borderline traitorous to me. I find...
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Is it traitorous?
Totally.
Yeah.
Nothing borderline about it.
It's theater. It's theater. They're up for an Emmy on 60 Minutes for manipulating an interview with Kamala Harris, and then they come out with more of their theatrics and decide, well, let's create this entire situation,
they'll
get
be
it on
every
TV.
show. Yep, they'll be on every show.
It's just theater. The left, the Democrats are all actors. They're theatrical. They should be on Broadway. Give them an Emmy if they want to be theatrical like that.
The same editing that got him a $20 million lawsuit.
Yeah, well.
Got him an Emmy, yeah.
It got him an Emmy,
Yeah.
right.
Paid out $20 million
else?
for that scam.
Oh, I got tons of stuff. Look at this. Man, this really steams my clams. So, Trump says no more pride flags. And 2 cities in, really red states go, all right, well, guess what? Our city flag is now a pride flag. What do you know? And you would never think. Boise, Idaho. I used to love working there.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. It's been taken over by pinkos from California who said, man, we killed this state. Let's go get another. And Salt Lake City, Utah. You would think those people would have something to keep the Marxists out. They don't. So now these 2 cities are going to fly their brand new city flag, which just happens to look like a pride flag. And that's their little FU to Trump and frankly, to the rest of the United States. And if I'm wrong, say, take your, yeah. See, I got 7 people on my side. I'm going to take over.
Yeah.
But they're good people. They're good people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Boise, Idaho, Salt Lake City, Utah, now flying the pride flag as their official city flags.
Yep.
Wow.
I don't like it.
Well, it's the continue what we talk about in red states. If we can't make red states as red as they can make blue states blue, and we're always fighting these kind of things in red states, whether it comes to medical freedom, things like this. You look at and you go, wait, where's that happening? And you can't believe it. And it's always someplace. It's Tennessee, or it's in Austin, Texas, or it's in Utah, Colorado, and all these. Not that that's red, but I mean, it just if we can't get the right people in office in the primaries, and we can't start making red states as red as they can make blue states blue, nothing is going to change.
Now, if I can say this, and this is awkward, so there's this woman in Minnesota who catches a young child of color going through her diaper bag, and she drops an N-bomb on him, and a Somali immigrant says, "Oh, say that again. I will make you famous. Call me that word." So she does. I'm not defending what she said. I'm not condoning it. But that woman is about to be a millionaire because she started a Give, Send, Go. Oh. And what this says to me, hold on.
That's the new thing.
What this says to me is this whole generation of white guilt is over.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's over. You know what? In England, we saw 250,000 women get raped by Muslim rapists, Pakistani, 85% of them, and they didn't do anything because they said, well, we can't say a word, we'll be considered racist. Not here.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night. We got a couple more to do. We'll try to get to everybody. A lot more topics to get to. We're back right after this. Going in the back. It's going down right now.
I'm going to eat mine. I'm going to eat on stage. I don't care.
You said Biden insanity,
I don't eat.
right?
That's who said
the Biden insanity tour.
He already has
my first meal in 2 days.
Because there's a report out tonight that he's going to write a book, $30 million tell-all.
Joe the box.
So let's talk about
Joe,
it.
thank you so much.
No one your rings now.
But
I love it.
I mean, did you eat already? Because I'll split this with you if you want. This is a lot.
Oh, I just ate half of my fiance.
Check. All right, Kev, whenever you're ready.
Oh, thank you, of course. Thank you so much.
Right now, it's the America First Steakhouse. Here we go. Thank you.
You know, Kev, I was gonna call that the black fragility. People are just they're done with it.
You're gonna eat that on
I gotta hear about
You're
white
crazy.
fragility.
Yep. You know what? I'm not
some
condoning
fries.
what the lady said.
No, absolutely not.
Look at the bigger picture.
Whoa.
But
Because remember that nurse
Looks
in
good.
Manhattan? She rents a bike,
right.
and 5 black kids surround her, and she got laid off from work.
See
for a
that-
while, and they were trying to. Oh, she had to hide because they want to kill her.
90 seconds.
All the time.
But you take your time, Kev. We got all the time in the world. Take your time, Kev. Take your time. Do what you got to do.
Thank you, buddy. Anything you want to say or ask? You want me to mess around?
Matt Miller.
Ask him if he has a steak sandwich.
Oh, that's a nice looking steak.
Steak sandwich or a steak sandwich?
We'll have a steak sandwich, please, with the steak sandwich.
Put it on the Underhills bill.
Thank you, Joe. You're too kind, my friend.
We'll take
You-
we'll have the
eating it
lobster
now?
thermidor.
Yeah.
It's $400 a portion.
Delgado? I got a joke
We'll just
for you.
better make it 2. Speaking of Letitia James, you see some of the scams she ran, like how nailed she is.
I know.
Yeah.
She nailed.
What?
Not in New York.
She had her residence, as Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah, I know.
You can't run here if that's your primary residence. And that primary residence, she had it down as a fourplex. It was really a fiveplex, which would have turned it into a commercial property. And she ends up saving money on her insurance and her note. I mean, there's three tiers of justice.
I'll do a stupid joke, and then we'll go to you. Yep.
Yeah.
And don't forget, Paul. She put herself down as the wife
of her father.
Of her father.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
We have to her for that.
Yeah, baby. Welcome back, Patriots, to Live from Studio 6B, coming at you from the most patriotic place you're ever going to see on the planet, the America First Warehouse. We got Patriot Matt here. Hey, Matt, can I ask you a question? It's actually a joke for Delgado, but pretend you don't know it's coming. Got it. So, you know Nancy Pelosi and her husband like to drink a lot, right?
Absolutely.
What's the difference between those two when they drink?
I don't know, Kevin. Tell me.
Oh, Nancy gets drunk, but Paul gets hammered. Oh! All right, that's a good one right there. Hello. Matt, what's on your mind?
Well, full disclosure, Kev and Big D, I am not on the Kevin Downey Jr. show every day on linewsradio.com. But I do agree with Kevin. If you're not listening to LI News Radio, you may be a commie.
Yeah! Yeah!
There you go.
But other full disclosure, I do know Harry on the Highway and Rick, Slick Rick, for over 30 years in our community.
Yeah, sorry.
By the way, everybody, welcome to Ronkonkoma. Joe the Box and the best patriot here in Ronkonkoma. Welcome to my community. Thank you for coming and showing up every week. And invite everybody next week to come down and live at Studio 6B every Friday right here at America's First Warehouse.
Yeah, baby. You know, Matt, I hear they give away tickets on the Kevin Downey Jr. show every Monday through Friday at linewsradio.com. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Paul Oliver says, listen at 5:30 a.m. and you might win.
All right, let's take it back to Big D. Thank you, Matt.
All right.
We're off the rails now.
Kevin, I don't think I've ever used the bomb on someone on the show, but I think if Kevin Downey Jr. live from Studio 6B on a Friday night. So, Vin, our group chat today was humming with topics that everybody wanted to try to get to, and so I'm looking at all the stuff we talked about today, and one sticks out now, given the news in Breitbart tonight, and Delgado was talking about this, about Biden being out there on The View and being out there at the BBC interview, and well, there's a report tonight in Breitbart. And to get to your point, Delgado, even more to hammer it home, Biden's thinking about a $30 million tell-all book. And I don't know how someone who can't read a book could write a book, but I'm not sure. But that's the story tonight.
30 mil.
And again, it begs, why does he need that money?
The same guy who did the pardons is going to write the book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does he need $30 million? Because he's broke.
Yes.
They're out of cash. He's done with his influence. He can't buy anybody off. He can't push through legislation. He can't accept bribes and get this guy a job and get his daughter a job and get this cousin a job. Everybody needs money, and they're looking at old Joe, and old Joe's like, blah, 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 blah. He has no idea what he's going to do. So they're like, hey, why don't you try and remember a few things? We'll put it in a book and say it's a tell-all. Right?
Yeah, Vin, what do you think of this?
I think that whoever's giving him $30 million for a book that nobody's going to read, he's so uninteresting even for the left. I mean, he's uninteresting to us. We all have our views of him, but he's completely uninteresting for the left who have to buy the book. Who's giving him this money? What publisher is sitting at a board meeting thinking this guy really should be just going to bed and just relaxing and doing nothing, and we're going to give him $30 million to write a book that nobody's going to buy.
I'll tell you who.
And it's written in auto pen also, which is amazing.
I'll tell you who's going to give it to him. The same people that gave Obama $65 million for his book that nobody read.
Right. Well, what
because it's their way of paying them off. Here, how do we get you the cash? Say you wrote a book. All right, here you go. Here's a book deal.
Speaking of books, by the way, it's pretty amazing that Jake Tapper, I've been hearing people report about it all day. It's like the arson returns to light another fire here. The Jake Tapper and the media are got all these tell-all books about Biden and how they all knew he was out of it and all that's going to drop next week. I heard Scott Jennings this morning on some CNN show saying, I don't think the Democrats have any idea the nuclear bomb that's going to drop next week on them as a party with all of these tell-all books about Biden. But it's like... You guys were the guys who lit the fire. You guys are the ones who told us that there was nothing wrong, that these were fake videos, that we were all out of our mind. Now you're writing tell-all books and making all this money off of saying, oh, yeah, we really knew the guy was totally lost. I mean, it's such a joke.
Yeah,
I'm your nightmare.
Especially because what are they going to do? They're going to sit there and say, well, it was the last 6 months is what my book is about. No, because they can't fill a book with 6 months of stuff they didn't do because he stopped running. So they have to go back to the previous 3.5 years and be like, yes, I remember when he said this, and then he peed himself. And I remember when he picked his nose, and then he ate it on TV.
I mean, Crazy Town started at the very beginning of it all. So to act like he only fell down his last 6 months is just as funny as it gets.
And I heard the book is only available exclusively at Borders Books, too. That's what I heard.
I heard Trump's been tossing around the idea of releasing the Hurt tapes, which he absolutely should.
Totally should.
Right?
Yeah, totally should with a reenactment. Like get some actors to reenact it. So when he passes out, starts snoring, you can see the guy actually fall asleep.
We can use AI to do that, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that audio needs to come out because remember the uproar around the fact that, he couldn't be prosecuted because he couldn't handle the prosecution.
Yeah, he's a feeble old man with a bad memory, he told us.
Yeah. And that was just another one of these, malarkey stories. But here we are. We're going to get the audio and we'll hear it for ourselves.
Yeah. 36 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Friday at the America First Warehouse. Paul Nolan, what else is on your radar tonight?
There was a couple of things. I still think, we covered most of it, really. But we were talking a little earlier, hot button topic.
Yeah.
About now there's apparently a rift between Netanyahu and Trump. Yeah, and this is like the ultimate alpha dogs. Both guys think they rule the world, essentially, right? They're two most powerful guys in the world, fair to say. And now apparently they're going head-to-head in the Israeli Times and was the Israeli Hoya, that bigger news. But in fairness, they know how to do propaganda there, too. These are like the equivalent of the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. They're talking about a big rift now that Mike Waltz was communicating directly with Netanyahu about bombing Iran, which Trump does not want to go to war. We could say he's the first anti-war president we've seen since Kennedy. Is that about fair?
Doesn't want to go to war, but I also don't think he wants to see them with a nuke on the end of an ICBM either.
What I would imagine no one does, right? I mean, who wants to see that? But the fact that there's been like a little power shift here with Netanyahu's starting to subvert and try to capitulate on decisions that have to be made, and he's kind of hee-hawing and sitting on the fence, forcing Trump to play a hand. Well, Trump played a hand, and he's going to travel the Middle East now, and he's not going to make a visit to Israel. There's a lot of things going on here, and there's a lot of stories, coming out of Israel talking about how there's some issues afoot here.
Yeah,
so I think it's worth noting and kind of keeping an eye on.
I know this is probably not going to be the most popular comment, but Iran is dangerous. They hate Israel. They hate us more.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one thing that the world has to, as Americans, we need to recognize.
100%.
And taking out their nuclear bomb-making facilities and all that stuff, I'm not for starting a war, but at the end of the day, these are really bad people. And these people will lie and cheat and hide and do everything possible to do damage to us. Why? Because this is their holy journey, or whatever they think it is. It's ridiculous,
That's
right?
correct.
It's brainwashed.
They're in this life to make it to the next one.
Exactly. So, when I was kind of disappointed when Trump pulled back a little when Israel was talking about taking out those things, but I think that's inevitable because there's really going to be no peace with these people unless the mullahs are taken out and they don't have the ability to really threaten the world or threaten Israel or threaten us. And they have that ability. I think we're all making a big mistake here.
Kev?
Yeah, and I think the point is that nobody thinks that war is like inevitable or the only way. But you certainly can't let them
Can't let them have it.
Right, you just can't. And if that entails taking them out, and it basically would be Israel doing it on our behalf and on their behalf, then that's what it comes to. That's what it comes to. And I believe Trump, by the way, who's not an isolationist, believes that.
I think
I heard Tom Cotton the other day on something, I forget what it was on, but he said that the position of the president and the position of almost all Republicans in both, I think there's a letter actually or some kind of proclamation floating around, that they will not, no matter what it takes, they will not be allowed to have a nuclear weapon.
KDJ?
Thank you, Paul. So, as some of you may know, I've got a problem with communism.
Just a little.
A little bit. So I know this. I know Vladimir Lenin, roughly 100 years ago, was sucking up to Islam because they both had two things in common. One of which, they didn't really care for the Jews. And number two, they hate and want to bring down Western civilization. So Iran has been working with the Pinkos for a very long time. That's why Obama was giving them money, because he's a globalist who wants to take down the United States. Same reason Biden gave Iran money. Remember, they both get the same excuse. Well, it was frozen assets. No, it wasn't. You're animals, and you want to take us down with Islam because you know they don't care. They'll blow themselves up in a church or wherever. And I'm going to say this. As much as I hate China, Iran, I think, is a bigger threat because they are so happy to die for what they want to do. And we ran up against that in World War II, the kamikaze pilots. Japanese, we're not afraid to die. So what do you do with people like that? You oblige them. You have to kill them sometimes.
And they're working with China and with Russia.
Yeah.
I mean, they're working with our two biggest enemies.
Yeah. Some of the takeaways also in these articles is also talk about Trump's, he's very interested in America first in the Middle East as well. And so a lot of what he's trying to do now is make deals directly with Saudi Arabia, especially for energy, for oil, and commerce. So some of the things he's doing, it looks to me like this could be another one of those America first, but overseas. I believe diplomacy is going to rise above all, and I probably stand alone on this, but I think he's going to be able to negotiate his way through this without, with disarmament, without the blowing up of everything. That's what I believe at this point.
I hope so. They just can't be trusted to disarm. That's really where I kind of draw the line.
Right.
I think we tried to do that. They tried for years. And we went in there, and it was a cat and mouse game. Now, whatever the disarmament means, I would love for this to be the solution, by the way. I mean, we don't want bad things to happen or us to have to bomb them. But they have just cheated and lied to us non-stop. And when your charter is to destroy our biggest ally, that's your charter, and us. I have to say, I'm not giving them much slack.
Well, I think with Trump creating some peace over in Yemen, I think that's a good olive branch, too, going forward. I just could see him diffusing most of this. Because let's be honest, he's a deal maker, and he's charming as all heck. Everyone will agree with that.
Anyone can do it.
And he knows that everybody just wants to make money first and foremost. So I don't know. I'm
pulling for you. I'm just telling you, I got a harder stance.
Dr. Waleed Faris says, a theory circulating in D.C. suggests that if you strike the right deal to satisfy the interests of the Iran regime, then somehow the regime will act in the interest of the Iranian people. The flaw in this theory is clear. The Islamic regime in Iran does not represent the people and never will. It serves only the will of the Khomeini elite. It is time to choose the people.
Yeah, well, you could say that about every government. Our government sells us down the river, too. You could say every government is selling their people down the river. They don't care about us. We're the mouth-breathing, knuckle-dragging animals who have taken up their space. But, so to me, that's almost a non-point, because no government cares about their people. They just don't, outside of, in my opinion, Trump.
Yep, that's so true. America first.
All right, live from Studio 6B. We'll wrap it up for a Friday night. When we get back right after this, we'll do sports. We'll try to get to everybody.
Hello.
Right. Get some sports in. Woo. be great. Yeah, we got to get more people down here.
I wish I would have known before. I would have banged it out. Am I right?
No. Next week.
Yeah.
We get the whole 5.
I'll get more than that. I'll get more.
That'll be good. We're in Ronkonkoma, man.
And I'm going to create them separate.
Nice.
Kevin.
I like that one. We didn't get to it. I'm working it, but we didn't get to it.
Next time. He'll be on again. Yep. Absolutely. Oh, he is. He's fantastic. Yeah, he's great.
Kevin, you got something?
You guys are the best.
He is great. He is great. He really is.
The funniest thing is, I was sitting at home. I don't know.
All right, folks, we got our last interview for the night. Do we have any volunteers looking for a female? Hey! The very patriotic lady right here.
I look up and I see him. I go, what the fuck? And then Doug Smith, my buddy, I was home.
Something you want to say, something you want to ask, you just want to have fun.
Sure, Matt.
Who's that, Matt?
That's great. Last line.
Go easy on her. She's a good friend of mine, Downey. She's a good
That's
friend
funny.
of mine.
She didn't admit to that. That's funny. I said, you know Slick? She goes, Slick who?
That's right.
Did you? For the calendar? My fiance bought the Slick Rick calendar.
You did?
I might have bought it. It might have been a Christmas present.
"45 seconds, kids."
45.
I'm just hoping not to choke on the steak
wow.
sandwich.
I went fast.
I'll be in Shippensburg May 23rd. Wink, wink.
I got one slab of meat out of that thing.
Yeah,
It's
you're right.
fantastic. I just.
Oh no! It's the final segment of Live from Studio 6B for the week here at the America First Warehouse in Ronkonkoma, Long Island. Ronkonkoma. So, Harry was just asking me where I'm going to be next week. I won't be here. I'll be in Shippensburg, where those two drove in from today at the Parks Casino. But right now, we've got Patriot Sarah here. Sarah, is there an H on the end of your name or not?
No H.
What do we think about those Sarahs with an H? They're whores, right?
Oh my.
Bunch of trollops.
She's gonna get us canceled.
A bunch of trollops. Sarah, do you have a question for the boys of Studio 6B?
Yes, I'm curious who you would all like to see run for president in 2028.
Ooh. I'll go first. Donald Trump. And we'll kick it back to Big D on the stage.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people agree with Kevin, but actually, I think the president on Meet the Press kind of put that to bed, that he was kind of trolling with all of that. But I don't know, Vin. Who would? I mean, before we talk about our side, I'm almost more interested in some way about the other side, because I don't know who they're running.
Jasmine Crockett.
Is it Jasmine What a Crockett, or is
Please,
it?
please let it be that.
I mean, who's it going to be? I mean, I would think they have to look towards. I mean, Kamala, I think I just saw in a new poll, is still in the lead when people ask about 28. She still is in the lead. So
Well, who's she up against?
Talk about never learning.
If
But,
you thought I
who
lost
cares
last
who she's
time.
up against?
I mean, you got Greasy Gavin Newsom, right?
Yeah.
You got Jasmine Crockett S. You got, who else is the other lunatic? AOC.
Gretchen.
Right. Stretch and Gretchen.
AOC, Stretch and Gretchen. You got the governor of Pennsylvania. I think is going to have to be in there.
Yeah.
I think they're all losers, right?
Well, yeah, it's not a deep bench. That's the point. So I'm more
Exactly.
interested in what they're going to end up having to do than what we're. I mean, we've got We've got plenty of people.
Maybe Booty Juice will throw his ass in there.
Could
Who
be.
knows?
Finn, who do you think?
We're talking Democrat or Republican?
Either one.
I was on the fence with Marco Rubio for a long time. I liked Marco Rubio, but I really like him now. I think he's doing great stuff. But I go with JD, man. I really love that guy. You remember when Trump was first picking him? And he was talking about him. We were debating this on the show.
Yep.
And I was like, you got to give this guy a chance. J.D. Vance is smart, articulate, knows his stuff. He's common sense.
Yale grad.
He says it like it is. He can handle the media. The way he handled Kamala in a debate, what's his name, Waltz there?
Tim Waltz.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I really do like J.D. Vance, but I have to say Marco Rubio has impressed me. Out of everyone in his cabinet, he's one of the people that's risen really high in my book. So.
All right, 10 minutes till the hour, live from Studio 6B. I'll get to the other guys on who they'd like to see run, but let's quickly get in some sports while we can. We haven't done much of it tonight. Slick's got sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. What's going on, Slick?
Big D, before I do that, I just want to shout out again Joe the Box from the First America Warehouse.
Oh, yeah, Joey the Box.
And the local flavor here, all the Patriots. I know you're going to do that later as well, but I also want to recognize all this beautiful artwork around us, these sports cars in particular. This is Neldina.com. My friend Nelson, I've known him for how many years?
Mandela?
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela?
I was going to say Nelson Mandela, but Neldina.
Impressive.
Yeah, Nelson's in the back there, so thank you so much.
I still won't play Sun City.
So good stuff. But I want to shout him out with all the beautiful artwork that he's done here, especially the race cars. Fantastic. So Nelson's been a longtime friend, one of the best pinstripers on Long Island, many years.
Major Nelson.
Here we go, big deal to the NHL. We go, Big D. Maple Leafs and Panthers in a good one, tied at 4. 5 minutes to go there in the third. That is Game 3. Toronto leading that series 2-0. Stars and the Jets getting ready to drop the puck at 9:50 in just a couple of minutes. That series 1-0. Dallas leading Game 2 tonight. And, it looks like it's pretty much over in the NBA tonight. Cavaliers 100-83 over the Pacers. 10 to go there in the fourth. I think that game pretty much closed out, though you never know. And that's East semifinals, Game 3. Indiana leading the series 2-0. Cavaliers in a must-win situation there. And, you ever watch a movie or read a book where you just know it's not going to end well, the story? Here you go. Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick's girlfriend, not banned from UNC football facility, the school says. Earlier today, it was said that she was banned from going into the arena. So David Ubben of at The Athletic. Jordan Hudson, the girlfriend of North Carolina football coach Bill Belichick, is not banned from the team's facility, the school said Friday, disputing a report from a podcast released earlier today.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, she's not tall enough to get in the building.
Yeah, but she's young enough to be one of the cheerleaders.
7.
That's the scary part. But while Jordan Hudson is not an employee at the University or Carolina Athletics, she is welcome to the Carolina football facilities, an athletic department spokesman said in a statement, noting that there was false reports about her role. Jordan will continue to manage all activities related to Coach Belichick's personal brand outside of his responsibilities for Carolina football and the university. And I got a better story about Andrew Agassi in the pickleball now. He's a professional pickleball player, Big D. So, but we'll get to that another night. I'll throw it back to you with about 4 minutes left to go.
All right, very good, Slick. 8 minutes till the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night. So, Doug Otto, you want to go back to the question that Sarah asked during the break? Who would you like to see run on our side?
Who would I like to see?
JD, is he the leading candidate for you?
I think JD is probably sitting in the driver's seat right now in terms of running on the Republican side. An outsider that I'd like? Who would that be? Oh, I don't know. Maybe throw me somebody like a Byron Donalds. I kind of like him. I'm still a Byron Donalds fan, even though I think he's going to be running for governor in Florida, which he'll probably win. I wouldn't hate him.
Okay, Kev, you said the president. You sticking with only that?
You know what? I know he's not going to run. That was more. I would love him to. Yeah. I would love to see J.D. Vance run with Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah.
Because I think the first female president is going to be a Republican. It's not going to be Kamala Harris. It's not even Tim Walz. I know he's kind of a chick, but listening to that man gives me a yeast infection. I really can't listen.
Made our periods sync up when you said his name.
Our periods sync up. It's really awkward. But yeah, I would love to see J.D. Vance and Tulsi Gabbard, because we've got a bench. And then you've got Vivek Ramaswamy. We've got a bench. They have nothing. They're talking about Kamala Harris, who ran on Vibes and Joy.
Yeah.
Paul?
So he stole my thunder, and I agree. But Tulsi checks all the boxes as vice president. Military. I guess you could call her an woman of color, I guess, because she's Hawaiian and how everyone grabs a label like that. But whatever, she's so good with the media. She's brave. She's got, she doesn't care what, she has no filter on what she says. And she kind of like divides the line, former Democrat. And she's been, every slur, every fake story has been thrown at her. And she's withstood them all and rose above it. And I just think that would be, I just think you're going to need the female vote to offset, what Republicans struggle with, liberal, middle-aged white women. So, except for this audience, of course. So I like Tulsi in that spot as well. I'm with you.
All right, good. Delgado, anything else on your plate tonight?
The only thing I have is someone we hope that maybe will make a musical contribution to the show in the future, Damon, as John Rich penned a little ditty that he sent out to North Carolina's own Tom Tillis. Here it is, cut number 8. Check it out for yourself. John Rich, let's see if we can get him on the show. John Rich.
Thom, 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 you were wrong, wrong, wrong when you went and sold North Carolina out. And thom, 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 you're gonna be gone, gone, gone when that 26th election rolls around.
There you go.
Yeah. Thanks for nothing, Tom. Go get him, Jesse Lee.
That's cool.
I love that guy.
There you go, a little John Rich.
Yeah, nice.
Be great to have him at the America First Warehouse.
Oh, we're going to get some music. We're going to get some music here. I want to thank everybody at the America First Warehouse for another great Friday night. I want to thank all the guys on the show. Aaron Fran for doing a great job as always. Joe the Box and the whole staff here at the America First Warehouse. Most of all, I want to thank you, the live from Studio 6B audience. Have a great weekend, everybody. And as always, we salute all our military, active and active police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody that keeps the country moving forward. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back Monday in live from Studio 6B.